Hey, what's going on, everybody? Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Hope you're doing fantastic. If you could subscribe here, and you get a notification every time we put up a new video. And also, got some exciting stuff coming our way later on this week. I'm excited to post up on the channel. Subscribe to Tobin and Leroy as well. Weekdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., 560 WQAM. As we like to get silly every single day. And, of course, got a new project you guys could check out. Game Day Uncensored with my guy Omar Kelly and my guy Alejandro Solana getting you ready for Dolphins football. Meanwhile, your Miami Heat, it'll be an exciting day on Thursday. I cannot wait to break down with you the schedule, which is going to get released. I think it's 3 p.m. I think that's the time it is. You know you're going to get a lot of leaky leaks coming up in the midst of everything there and get the schedule going. But one of the things that got released is this mid-season tournament that is going down. And, you know, I can understand why people are trying to make fun of this mid-season tournament. Who cares? You know, it's like, who cares about this trying to make November games matter? I don't know how much it's going to have an effect on teams. I think the whole point of it is, like, the NBA does really have an issue with trying to make their regular season matter. And by the way, the Miami Heat are not helping the case. Like, if anybody took a blowtorch to the importance of the regular season last year, you can look to your favorite basketball team, the Miami Heat, because I honestly don't know. This is one thing I'm genuinely curious of. If they don't get Damian Lillard and they don't have a lot of turnover, how Eric Spoelstra is going to get this team to really have any sense of urgency next year is going to be incredible. I don't know how he's going to do it. I don't know how the fans are going to feel about it. You know, I was just talking about this on the Dolphins video about, like, you know, the difference between this year and last year of Tua mistakes and how you just don't feel that urgency like you did last year. And I feel like with the Dolphins, I feel like with the Heat, I mean, if they don't get Damian Lillard, how is any Heat fan going to feel any pressure? How is Spo going to get Jimmy Butler to have the sense of urgency? Maybe they will. I mean, maybe, you know, you never quite know, like, what taps into that, and maybe they'll just have this furious revenge because they're tired of losing in the finals. I don't know, but I could understand the human nature of what happened last year was a little bit of apathy at certain times, I think. So they have this in-season tournament. Will that get the Miami Heat to dial in? I don't know. But I will say, you know, the NBA kind of got made fun of for the in-season tournament, or for the play-in tournament, and it's been a smashing success. I mean, it's been really, really fun. I mean, those games are fun. I remember going to the Bulls game after they lost that Hawks game. I mean, honestly, the lowest of the low that anybody had felt. They got destroyed by Clint Capella, and it really did feel like, I don't ever feel like this, but it felt like everybody else. I honestly get made fun of by a lot of Heat media, because everybody always, what do you feel, Tobes? And I'm like, I feel great, but I always feel great. That's genuine. Like, ask any of the guys who do, you know, who report, who do podcasts, YouTube, whatever, and they say, and ask them, what is Tobin like before games? When you always ask, what do you feel? They'll make fun of me. They'll say, he always feels great. That's always my answer. But I remember that Bulls game in particular, everybody was like, it was like a funeral. And I'm talking like people within the organization I was talking to, you know, just everybody, the people you would think would be the most optimistic were even like ready to say 1, 2, 3 Cancun. And it gave them that new sense of life. Max Strus saved the day, and rousing success. The Miami Heat were able to go from a play-in tournament to an NBA final. And for them, I don't know if this in-season tournament is going to have that same gravitas. Look, making $500,000 a piece for Jimmy Butler, for Damian Lillard, for Bam, Tyler, Kyle, is that going to be rousing? Hey, it's not nothing. I mean, you know, the money's gotten so bananas in the NBA. I mean, Hell, you got guys making $62 million. Will they be busting their ass for another $500,000? I don't. Hopefully. You would hope that they would have some kind of sense of that, but a lot of times it kind of feels like they don't. But then again, you look at, you look at on this team like Jamal Cain or, Orlando Robinson, how much they would be killing for that championship. I mean, yeah, I think that could have a trickle down and a pass around for certain guys on the team, even the vets who are making vet minimums. I mean, what are you going to put another, 20% of their salary on top of it? So yeah, I think that I do think that the money will be a good motivator for guys. I do think that also playing for anything can be fun. And so, they have this games. They're taking on the Wizards, the Hornets, the Knicks, and the Bucks. And then I guess the way it works is if you sweep, you automatically get a bid. And the best records, those 6 winners of the 6 brackets, they all go forth with 2 wild cards. And it makes you a quarterfinal, semifinal, final. And, we'll see how fun it is. But I think that any of that stuff can be interesting. And I think also, in a way, for Spo, like if there is a situation where Jimmy's not there and they're still having success, I think these can be spots where, like, he almost uses it like a summer league where the Heat will give Nikola Jović more responsibility. I know Orlando Robinson more responsibility. Did this with Max Strus. Where they'll go and they'll be like, hey, let's put the emphasis on this. And, maybe we'll see guys lock in a little bit more and give them some time just for that time, and I think the other thing that's crazy about it is it's like, there's like 2 real dead spots for the NBA. And it's usually like the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, like the first, let's say 3 weeks after the NBA starts up until Christmas. And then it's kind of like that lull between like the late July to the All-Star break is always kind of like the 2. Do we really care about this? Although I will say, like, some of it's been now after the All-Star break. But, if it adds a little bit of spice, I'm all for it. I'm not one of these people who's going to be like, I don't want to see that. Honestly, going to Las Vegas in the middle of the year sounds kind of cool. Sounds like a pretty fun thing to go cover. Vegas. Vegas seems like it's going to be an awesome NBA city whenever that does happen. Speaking of Jović, by the way, dude, I mean, some of these plays that he's down for Serbia, I love it. Man, a little sweet in there, dude. I mean, he is enticing. I mean, it is tough not to watch him every which way and think to all this. Man, this guy, he looks like he could be. I honestly, if I'm Joe Cronin, I'm looking at him, I'm like, how do I not want this guy as a prospect? But it is interesting with all this James Harden stuff. James Harden, who's allowed to, do whatever he wants. Damian Lillard, you give one little inkling that you want to go to the Miami Heat and all hell breaks loose. James Harden, everybody's just like, it really is funny. Like everybody's reaction is like, and even me, like I'm just like, oh, it's James Harden. But like, it's so, James Harden, you rascal. Look at him. Let's see him put on the fat suit again. We're almost waiting for James Harden shenanigans. And him calling one of his coworkers a liar because he didn't overpay for him. We're all cool with it, and everybody's just like laughing at it, and it's so with a wink and a smile of what's going on. But Damian Lillard had the audacity after 11 years of loyalty to one franchise. He genuinely got not even like sneakily lied to like Daryl Morey did. Daryl Morey sneakily lied. Oh, James, we give you the max deal. Cronin is on the record saying we're going to build around Damian Lillard multiple times, and they did the exact opposite of it. And then had the audacity to tell the guy, well, there's not a trade we could have made better than getting Scoot Henderson, Dame. Oh, the guy who plays my position, Joe, and he had to go bellyache to the league, and they folded, they rolled over, like a puppy, just what did you say, Joe? It was so soft by the NBA to do that, and so rotten for them to do it to a guy like Damian Lillard. Really, really was. But wherever this is, if this does give them more feeling of ammunition because they're going to make it awkward on Miami, who will maybe press for more. I'll tell you what, man, between Tyler Herro, who I guess what reports were earlier in the summer that he was expecting to be traded, that he was telling people around that he's going to be traded, but I think he's got his camp coming up. I think it's this week, maybe it's next week, but he's got a camp coming up locally. And he was at the Miami Pro League. We talked about that, how he balled out. Big hugskies to Bam. And then he's been working out with Heat coaches. Like he on his gram today, he was hanging out with Chris Quinn. And Chris Quinn's like the lead assistant for the Heat. And I'm not suggesting Chris Quinn and him not have a relationship. I'm sure they're good friends. I'm sure that they're very close. He's had the guy on his, been coaching the guy since he was a teenager. But he puts him on the gram like that. It's like, this doesn't seem like a guy who has guilty of this, but probably overreached on the whole changed his bio thing, because his relationship with the Heat seems, at least with the people in the locker room, very, very solid. I mean, you're talking about Bam, Chris Quinn, Coach O, it's funny too, man, because it's like, oh, this stuff is always going to be so awkward. It's like, well, James Harden was out there partying in the Hamptons with Joel Embiid and Spose chumming it up, and Kyle Lowry's photographer Drew Majors putting it up on social media. So I think we think this thing is going to be, I think that the Blazers probably think that this thing for the Heat's going to be a lot more awkward for the Heat. They think it's going to be awkward, and I don't think it's going to be that awkward. And whenever Tyler Herro puts to bed all the, what do you think the trade rumors have been like, Tyler? I haven't really, I don't really worry about that stuff anymore. It seems like anytime my name comes up in trade rumors, I've kind of put all that behind me. Are you mad at the Heat? It's business. What can you do for a guy like Damian Lillard? But I mean, he's already done this. He did this last year with Kevin Durant. Did it the year before with James Harden. He's an expert at this stuff. He handles everything like a pro and works hard at it. So I really don't think, now for the Blazers, is it going to be weird? I mean, you guys are the ones trying to trade away an icon and have preseason games to have him at, and have a training camp with young guys around. So I mean, if you're gonna score, which one it's going to be more awkward for? I'm going to say it's going to be a lot more awkward for the Blazers than the Heat, because it already feels like the Heat are setting themselves up to kind of just handle this like they always seem to, which is with professionalism and a singular message and all that stuff. And if it happens, it happens. But I will say it does feel like, as the days have gone on, even like the replies I even get of people who are like, oh, I don't want to get rid of Jović. I don't want to get rid of Jaquez. I don't want to get rid of Tyler here. I want to... like you get the temptation of it, and it's like it kind of loses its luster a little bit. Now, that being said, I do not want to tell you guys on this microphone that I do not want Damian Lillard. If the Heat got Damian Lillard, I mean, I don't know what my reaction will be. It'll probably be crazy. But I am not of the camp right now where it's like, if it didn't happen, I think this is a disaster, because, what are the big holes the Heat have on this roster right now? It's not, I know people will say, well, you lost Gabe Vincent and you lost Max Strus. It's like, yeah, but like, okay, do they not have shooting with Duncan Robinson? Did they lose Duncan Robinson? You're telling me Jaime Jaquez can't give him a little something? You're telling me that, let's just say theoretically, you still had Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry can't capably handle the point guarding duties for a little bit. Like, it's not like the cupboard is bare, and I think that's crazy. Who was it? It was it Gilbert Arenas? I think it was like, the Heat. They completely bleeped up. It's like, yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know, because I don't see them as a team that's like without puzzle pieces. If this were to all blow to smithereens, and even Damian Lillard, what really would screw the Heat is if like Damian Lillard went to a conference rival or something like that, but. It is interesting seeing that. I feel Tyler has been putting out better Heat and Miami vibes as of late than there was earlier on in the season. And guys get told this stuff by their agents of where things are at. Do they think they're safe? Do they not? And I'm be interested to know if he feels like he's gotten word that Nothing is happening. You're not going to get traded. Cronin's being a baby, and get ready for camp in Miami.